Wow. You are live. Not sure.
Good evening.
Grand King. What's the
LA
word?
Lakers.
What's the word? Another Tuesday.
Mm.
Tell them why we was gone last Tuesday though.
Okay. So last Tuesday we were on the Street Profit TV podcast
and YouTube
channel.
Yeah, so
that was a lot of fun.
It was like a dual day. It was two things going on at once.
We ended up catching up with our cousin because that's his podcast, and then just kind of talking about like stuff we want to do in the community or how we got started.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, honestly. I mean, it was refreshing because it seems like we're always moving forward when we talk about things, and then this time we kind of got to take a step back and like reflect on what we wanted.
For sure. Fancy Dana. For everything
to kind of fall through.
For sure.
So yeah, it was good though. It was very, and all the links and stuff is posted on so many pages. You could definitely go find it, go watch it, and just hear what we got to say.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
But man, I don't know. I feel like, do you want to do a check-in or we need to get right into it? Because we got
a lot to go through. I mean, we can just get straight into it. You know what I mean? For the people that don't know, we would just want to be more interactive with the people that watch us, the people that care about the things that we post or just talk about in general. And today, as you see by the title, we have Dear CC with DP squared.
Yeah.
And, the Dear Abby. Where does that even come from? That's like an old thing in newspapers, right?
Yeah, like I actually don't know where that comes from. I just know that that's where people used to like try to, I guess, phone in or write in when they needed advice.
Then they write back and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole other thing where people have asked us for advice. They want to hear our opinions on things that they may go through in their life or, just things in general.
Yeah.
And, we're here to answer those questions.
For sure.
So,
all right.
I guess we just jump straight into it. And I guess people that's watching, can weigh into what they think, different ways that, the certain things can apply. This is my first time actually reading them. Like, I saw them pop up, but I didn't read them for real.
Yeah, I didn't really read them a whole lot either. So I'm excited to like tap in to see what people had to ask. Should I go in order? Let me actually start.
Whatever it doesn't matter.
All right. Let's see.
Any,
all right.
Anyway.
Okay. How do I... All right. No, let me do this one. How to prioritize / how to strengthen time management.
Ooh. How to prioritize / strengthen
time management.
So I would say, initially, get yourself a planner. You have to be dedicated to the things that you actually care about. Just trying to use your mind to steer yourself the correct way is just not beneficial in the long run. You have to write things down. You have to create calendars, reminders, so that in many ways, the way you're setting up your day is strategical. That you're not just starting the day knowing you have to do things, but then throughout you be like, and I struggle with this too.
Yeah.
You forget that these things are going on. So yeah, that's what you got to say.
No, I agree. To prioritize, I guess it's really hard because I think the main thing you have to remember is like, if I don't do what I need to do right now, is it going to throw off like my pace or the goals that I have? Because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'll do this tomorrow, or I'll push it back to next week, or I'll do it when I feel like it. But you're really just delaying yourself from greatness essentially because you're not applying yourself. And like I'm a person where I have good time management, but I do struggle with like being like, I can do it later or something. So that's something I need to work on too.
So what would you say at like a quote unquote real job that you have? Like what's ways that you manage time, even though things may flare up randomly? How do you, assess those things?
Yeah. So right now I've been, writing things on like a whiteboard, and because I'm very old school, so I like to cross things out or erase it when I'm finished. Because even though I know I need to do it, if I don't see it, I'm not going to do it. And I do have a planner too, so I write in my planner as well. I just started having my iPad work again, so I'm trying to use my iPad more to like schedule out my days. But I literally have to write a reminder for everything.
Right. So you think physical and visual reminders are positive?
Yeah.
So actually seeing them and then physically maybe
like
crossing them out.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah, and I honestly you have to know where your priorities lie. What's important to you. Or do you want to just stay in the same place every day and just not attack whatever you're thinking about and just let it bypass? certain things deserve less and some things deserve more. So I think you just have to be intentional
for sure
with your decision. It's like you said, it's both. You have to do the physical work, but then it's also mental. You have to, if you want to do it, go do it.
Yeah,
you can't just slack.
It's easier said than done.
It is,
for
definitely,
sure. Because
definitely.
I'm a person who I don't have it all figured out. I definitely I get bombarded by just keep passing delaying stuff. Yeah. But you ultimately just gonna be more stressed out in the end. So you might as well just try to.
And it's very easy to procrastinate too, because when so many fun things going on in your life. In school or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like more and more these days you don't have time to just do nothing. I feel like there's always something that has to be done, and that's the part that's hard, at least I think. Yeah. But that's a good question.
Yeah, that was.
Or a good question.
It's honestly, and it's just sometimes it's challenging when your mind is just on a lot of things. Just like when you know you got to get things done, it can be a little intimidating.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's see. I think there's a couple on here that talk about this, but how to control or overcome anxiety.
Okay.
I don't think you can. I think anxiety is going to always be something that might appear in your life.
Yeah.
So I think when someone says more so how to control, I don't know if you can overcome it, but you can definitely control it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would say
maybe overcome too in certain degrees.
Well, yeah, I just think that it's natural to feel anxious.
It is.
So I don't want people to think that something's wrong with you if you feel anxious.
Yeah.
So to me, it's okay. And I was meditating the other day, and the person said instead of trying to calm yourself down from being anxious, what you should do is turn your anxiety into excitement. More so, because it depends on what you're anxious about.
Right.
But say you're really anxious about a test coming up or this big project or trying to ask a girl out. I don't know. It could be anything. Yeah. We should be you know what? I'm excited to do this, or I really think that this is something that I'm trying to overcome, or I'm excited to accomplish it, whatever it is, because when you have anxiety, that means your heart is racing and all that. So you might as well tell your mind more so that you're excited instead of being let me calm down, because you're not going to be calm in that moment. Yeah. So it's unrealistic to make yourself calm.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I would say ultimately when you're going through anxious situations or you're having anxiety attacks, you're usually battling in your mind a situation that you really are not comfortable being in, or you are questioning yourself and going to that situation. So I'll say for myself, and a lot of times it's just putting yourself in uncomfortable spaces and knowing that no matter what occurs from the time there until the time is over, that you at least did it. And then later down the road, it'll help you, be beneficial to the point where you already have done this and you know how it may turn out. But at the same time, the future isn't you don't know what's going to happen.
It's not. You're not for sure.
You're not for sure. Nothing's for sure. As much as you think bad is going to happen, something positive could come out of that. It's just a lot about weighing. You know what I'm trying to say.
I think it's if once you realize that there's always going to be moments in your life where you're going to be uncertain or you're going to be not always completely comfortable.
Right.
You'll start to be more used to okay, I can feel my body getting a little hot or sweaty. This is just one of those moments again. Let me breathe through it. Let me, and then honestly, you have to also learn to tell yourself that everyone is feeling this way. Because a lot of times I think people are anxious in situations where everybody else is anxious too. So don't make yourself feel uncomfortable or ostracized because you might feel one. Yeah. So it's all about just working yourself through it and not being dang, I'm so mad at myself, I'm feeling anxious right now. Just try to.
But the one thing I can't get with is sometimes when people will beat themselves up for, feeling a certain way or, but then they don't try to initiate change in that aspect. If someone's, let's say they're just afraid to socialize in public spaces and they're just upset at themselves that they act this way. But you have to initiate some change in some way where you then continue to speak up or voice your opinion in different ways, where you feel those anxious situations so you can never get better if you don't try.
Right.
That's with anything,
Yeah.
You have to practice your craft with things you want to work on. So you can't do both. You can't want change, not do it, and then beat yourself up. You can't. That's that's just
because it's self-pity.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So. Yeah. No, I agree. That's a good point. You're right.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's see.
We should have made them put dear in the beginning for each one.
Oh, I know. Dear CC with DP squared.
Yeah, she said.
I'm gonna say that every time now. All right, ways to be more consistent in your craft.
Okay. This goes. Question. Yeah, that is a good question because even with us, it's hard. Sometimes it's challenging to be consistent. I want to be consistent when it's just a pack of a small people, working towards one goal. It's different when you got a whole crew and a whole, agency behind you. You don't have to do a lot, but with us, it's a lot of focusing on one thing in times, and then
along with other responsibilities.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be challenging to focus on your craft, but again, you have to see where you align in life, what you want to do, like what's most important in your life, what things do you want to change to become better, right? Because as much as you can just not do what you love and just sit back and just go through the motions, you can flip the script on yourself and just go full throttle. And
I agree.
That's what we try to do here too, because it's a lot of things that we want to achieve, and we just have to flip our mindset. That's why and sometimes it even be talking to people that you care about, and talking to people that care about you, and having discussions like what can they do to help you and what can you do to help them,
right? And see what people are doing for sure. I was somewhere today and the guy was talking about founders mentality. Have you heard that?
No.
So he said it's a book, but basically he said, like, when someone works somewhere in a company, it's like the employee can get very, like, you might be excited in the beginning, but you might at some point kind of be like, I'm tired of doing this, or you're not motivated that day or whatever. But hey, Stephanie, but the founder never loses that excitement. Like the person who founded the company, they're always usually they're the person who's like, because it's their like baby, it's their mission, their vision, their goal, and they want people who work there to have that founders mentality. So that's something when I heard it today, I'm like, I want to try to adopt, because we're the founders of the company, but like I don't think I always have a founders mentality.
And go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say also taking small accomplishments and achievements and like being proud of yourself
for sure
for the things that you have accomplished in a long or short period of time. Like I love when we're cooking up a YouTube vid and you just finish watching it, like this joke is really tough. No matter how many people see it or do it, you're just happy because you were able to put this out or do this certain thing. Right? So just be proud of yourself for, if you're not
like small stuff.
Where you want to be, at least you're trying. You know?
And people are watching even if they act like they aren't. So if you're someone who is just starting off and you feel like what you're doing is like cheesy or it's not that good as other people, just know that either people are watching because you inspire them, or it's like, just know that you should put your on to something because someone's always watching. As far as, not saying in a negative way, but just like you should just always try to be the best you can be because someone is always like tapping in, whether you know it or not.
That's true. So all right, let me do one.
Oh yes.
You click one. All right, let's see. Okay, so here's one. Dear CC, how to get out of a relationship that no longer serves any purpose? So
you want? I mean,
I can kick it up. I
would say I don't. I wouldn't.
Well, it can be friendships.
Okay.
So it can be friendships, a relationship. But what I would say, so especially with a relationship that no longer serves you, it comes in ways where you'll be, very loved and very cared about, and then you'll again feel like this relationship means nothing. It serves no purpose. And this could be in, for married couples. It could be for regular relationships, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk relationships, whatever. But no, what I learned is that you have to remember, and this is just instance, let's say you felt bad. Because she said, the person said that it no longer serves them.
Right.
So it has to be something negative in a way.
Right.
You have to remember the way that you felt in the moment that you didn't feel like it served any purpose, how this person was treating you, the things that they did to you, what you saw that you didn't like, how it made you feel, because it can really put you in a sunken place. And then 3 weeks later, you're in this lovey state, but you always have to appreciate the person that was going through those tough times. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, the person that 3 months ago, let's say, that was the relationship was horrible and things like that, you were just like, please just help me get to a better mental state. I'm doing so bad right now, blah, blah, blah. You have to remember that person begged for you to be in a better position 3 months down the road. That you cannot go back in that sunken place. Because then you would just be doing a disservice to that person. Like, you have to respect yourself, your past self.
For sure.
So, like, that's how I would say you have to, like, look at it.
That's a good, I like that. I think when it comes to relationships, friendships, work, like whatever, if it's no longer serving you, she said how
how
because I know it's so hard, especially when your emotions are involved. Your brain, like you don't pay attention to what your brain is saying.
Especially the negative stuff, it just kind of falls through the cracks.
But to add on to what DeAndre say, I would probably say, like, which I don't know if this is which would actually work, but I feel like this is something that I might do is start to surround myself with people who like that has nothing to do with my relationship. Not in a negative way, but maybe hanging out with family more. But because it would start to make me feel like I can spend my time with those other relationships that I have in my life. And not because I think sometimes people get in a relationship, you get so like you just want to be with that person, and then in your mind you're like, dang, I don't want to lose this person because like I spent so much time with them, or you know, all these good things. But once you like hang out with your friends more, you be like, I don't really.
You know what I think people have problems with is and I'm not saying this is what you were saying, but some people say that they use different relationships, like people, even it could be like finding a rebound or something to distract them from their true feelings upon a person. Then when they see him, all these emotions rush back into them.
Right. So like, no, I'm not saying that for sure. I just think that sometimes people like when you in your own bubble, you feel like there's nothing else better than that bubble. Yeah. But when you step outside that bubble, not with trying to distract yourself, because I do see what you're saying, but just more so like, say you haven't been hanging out with your friends as much, like hang out with your friends, not to forget about the problems you're having, but just to more so, I think it just will help with the transition instead of just like cutting somebody off and then you're looking like, oh my God, like I have so much time to, like, I don't know what to do anymore. You know, I don't know. I just feel like it would to surround yourself with positivity and people who love you, other people who love you, I think will at least maybe help a little bit with trying to cut off someone who no longer serves you.
Yeah, you also have to just let time play its role, because in the moment you really think that the pain or whatever will never end, or you know, you're just going to be in this state forever. But really, you just let time, you know, do itself, and you are, you know, purposefully, you know, excluding ways not to see them. You know, you're not responding to their messages, or you may block them or everything. Yeah. But you know, you're really being intentional about not seeing their face or not hearing from them, so you can actually heal yourself.
Yeah, for
and not like
not have one foot in, one
out. Right, exactly. Like trying to say you want better for yourself, or you don't want to be in this relationship, but then also when they text you the second week you healing, you're gonna respond and go see them.
That's mean you're not ready.
You're not ready. Exactly. So you have to be honest with yourself about the things that you want.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes it might take some time to like, you might have to journal it out, like write what you might want to say. Cause I also don't think too that people should just cut people off and like, you don't say anything because you want to avoid having that tough conversation. I feel like you should be like, hey, not say you got to say you no longer serve me, but like be honest. And then because I don't know, which I know is harder too for people, but I'm just saying have the conversation, not to say for them to persuade you to get back with them, but just more so like, like I'm trying to be done with this. So.
Yeah. Cause we got to next. Run out of time, bro.
Well, we'll have to do a part 2 for sure, which will be cool. We can do a part 2.
Okay, here's one. Oh, this could be good for both of us. Okay. Dear Cece, how do you lock back into school mode after being like because we both were in college and Deja's actually still in college, like you know, like grad school. Grad school. So like, how do you lock back in?
My gosh, like that's such a great and hard question because I really don't know how I'm going to log back in.
Me neither.
Like I don't know. And this is being very honest. Like
me neither. It's hard to work back on a schedule. Yeah. Like when you're on no type of schedule.
I know, especially because I'm already like my day is enough right as it is. I don't want to add more to it. Yeah. But maybe ease yourself, which this sounds so cliche, but like say, you know, when you were younger, you start going to bed earlier, or you start like.
No, but these are true though.
Like start trying to create habits that you at least tried to have when you were in school. So maybe for me, I would try to like be less on watching TV and try to spend more time like completing certain tasks, because of course I don't have any tasks right now, but like trying to trick my brain to be like, okay, you're not going to be able to take a nap at 6 p.m. anymore. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you have to start getting your body back into the habits. Cutting out the extra stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Cutting out like just the extra things that don't, I wouldn't say this is not for everything, but don't apply to school. Like you have to be smart about when you're in school, because things just come up so quickly that compared to summertime, it's just like lollygagging and just having the most fun time or whatever. But it's good though. Even coming into that first week of school, it's kind of like a leeway. Even the first week is syllabus week. Like they give you time to restructure yourself. You got leeway being on class on time or not. It's just certain ways to, like they just say, ease you back in. So I would say that's the best way too. I mean, it's not really much you can really do. It's kind of just like a environmental
switch.
To do it. You just kind of gotta do it.
And maybe just look at the summer as a reset. Like I think it's really hard. Like maybe if school started like a couple weeks, some people might have been relaxing, but a lot of people probably was like working the whole summer. So if you can, which is not always realistic, maybe use this last week to just like chill. Maybe not go out with your friends if you was going out every night or whatever. Like give yourself that time, because when school do start back up,
and also think of school, not all the time, but think of school like it's the job you're working over the summer.
That's a good way to
like
think
maybe
about it.
To like restructure your mind to school. School is not the summertime. You have to take it seriously. You have to be there on time. You got to work all day. Like, of course you can have spurts of fun, but maybe initially when you're starting, think of it just as important as you trying to make some money.
Yeah,
because it's your education. True. So,
and I know one thing with me, I think too is like maybe, I guess it doesn't really answer the question, but this semester I'm trying to do more stuff like as a student, if that makes sense. So I want to go to more events, go on to campus more, try to like, true. And I don't know if that'll help me with my transition, but it might make me feel a little better when it's like, I have this assignment. I won't just feel like I'm doing another thing for work. It'll make me feel like I don't know, like at least for me, I really liked school. So it made me like, okay, I was able to like go to the library at school today and like work on my work. It's very clear. It's very dumb, but I feel like it'll help me be a little more excited about my work. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, how to be patient. Being patient.
Okay. I think it's a good one right here.
Yeah.
Being patient I think it's a very easy concept when you understand that everyone around you is also, trying their hardest, trying to do something that they may love.
Do you feel like you're patient?
I think I'm a patient person.
Like with people, with yourself?
I think both. I give people a lot of chances. I give people a lot of time to do their thing. I'm not very pushy. I'm not very like, I can be snappy, but not really in that sense to the point where it's like, I do get annoyed at people that like intentionally try to be lazy.
They deserve it.
They get a little bit extra out of me, but generally, I'm really just chilling. But you have to understand that everyone is, with the patience, everyone is, trying or, so like you as a person, you have to just, I don't know, kind of like take a step back and like respect that. Like you being hard on everyone is going to push them away and not want them to even like be around you.
Right.
When you're very snappy or very on edge or just kind of always criticizing people for things that they do or don't do, you just kind of have to be like, just like take the L in that moment. Like somebody is doing something that you think is, very
like throws you off.
Throws you off or very lazy where you feel like you have to say something. That time, don't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so crazy. And I noticed is like, again, I always feel like I be saying stuff that's obvious. But when I tell you recently, I barely take anything personal. Like, seriously. Like, I'll laugh about it. Or I'll be like, because usually my first reaction would be like, this person trying to play with me. Or like, I know you're not trying to be rude to me or whatever. And then like later on, I'll realize that they really didn't mean it or I took it the wrong way. And I'm so happy I didn't react the way I really wanted to because it always ends up working out. So I just feel like when you're patient, you let yourself, take time to really digest and figure out how you want to respond to whatever it is.
Yeah.
And two, it's like, I would like to have patience as well. There are certain things that I do or that I don't know or do know, and people have been patient with me. So like, and I know how much that has helped me. So why wouldn't I be patient with other people? And yes, I have many times. I ain't talking about if I'm in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru and y'all taking forever. I still might be impatient. I mean, that's something I'm still working on. Right. But I mean more so like people I work with or just like day-to-day type of things. I try to be less.
So what about like what about mood though? Like do you take it personally, but then you can see the change in your mood or in your face or the way that you are?
That's a good question.
Like, do you think like that is also something that you have been not taking personally? Like mood shifts. Like you may be mentally like, oh, whatever, but
but you can still tell.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's yes and no. I think I would be lying if I was saying every time.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell in my face that the mood has changed, but I do think I've made significant progress with that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and I might vent about in the house or whatever, but no, like I think that I've gotten much better with that. I don't think that I still, because at the end of the day, sometimes, and I don't know, maybe this has to way I have to trick my brain, but sometimes I be feeling like people be trying to do stuff on purpose. Mm-hmm. Like they be trying to get you thrown, they try to throw you off, they try to like hit you in certain ways that they think you're going to react. But I've been learning as I've gotten older that you can't even.
Right. Silence is powerful too.
Yeah. Or like laughing people off, I think is the best thing.
Yeah, that could even be a little thing with patience too. Not saying anything.
Yeah.
Understanding that you being quiet is more powerful than you responding.
For sure.
So, I mean,
for sure.
Yeah. Like that.
And at the end of the day, when you yell, when you do all that, you still don't, you don't feel better. No, you don't feel. Or I know, like for me, which is something I still need to work on, like you being rude to somebody you don't even know because you was impatient. Why? Yeah, why are you doing that? Yeah. So, yeah.
I agree.
Maybe we have time for how many things? Maybe. Because I feel like we should save some for a part 2. What do you think? I mean, maybe we can do one more question. You want to choose last one? I think it's like you can swipe.
Yeah. Okay.
And thank you to everybody who submitted.
This is from a special man. Dear CC, how do I stop feeling like I am chasing time? School is coming to a close and life is beginning to start.
That's such a complex question because I feel like I go in and out of feeling this way. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I'm like, oh no, everything has a reason, I'm good. And other times I'm like, yeah, So
why do you think? Can I say something?
Oh, you had something in mind? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in this moment.
Okay.
Of this right here. So
all right.
Some days you kind of look back on the other days that have already passed, like you wish you could have done more,
right?
Because you feel like you're kind of lacking. You know, like things could have been done that was not done that would have put me in a better position right now.
Right.
And I don't really have a answer to that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard battling that sometimes when you feel like things are speeding up, but you're behind chasing.
Yeah, and I mean like behind on who's on.
I guess it would just be the things you see.
And that's the thing. Like I was just talking to somebody, and I'm like, okay, if I'm on social media, I would think that everybody got their own place, everybody got the job they want, everybody in a relationship that they want. But the more people I talk to, my age, are in this figuring out stage. Like the more people, like the real humans I interact with, I'm like, wow, it's like I'm not the only one. So I don't know if it's more so having transparent conversations with the people around you, because I feel like that really helps, knowing that like I'm not the only one who's trying to figure out what my next move is, or I'm not the only one who's like still living at home, or just different things, maybe like you're still working towards the desired lifestyle. But I honestly think too, similar to how you were saying before, it's like, well, you didn't really say this, but I'm kind of linking them in the same. It's like, you can't control what has already been done.
Yeah.
Period. Like you just can't. So like, instead of using 2 weeks to maybe be down about it, maybe a week you feel down about it, but that next week, do stuff that might help to inch towards what you think you should be trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Like I felt that same way in college. I'm like, dang, everybody got internships. Dang, everybody is doing this, doing that. And it's like, I didn't get my first internship till my senior year of college. And it's like people had stuff freshman year, sophomore year. And it's like, we're all end up in the same place, or I'm doing better than some people. So it's like, instead of beating myself up the whole senior year, being like, forget it, I ain't gonna get no job anyway. I was like, nah, like, let me shift my focus. Let me try to zone in and like try to get something the next summer. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, you have to, it's no written books, all this. And you have to remember, like, both of us were the first in our family to do certain stuff. True. So it's like, we don't have a guidebook. We don't have no, oh yeah, it's like cookie cutter, let me do it exactly. Because a lot of people we go to school with have guides. Like they had people who did it before them, and we didn't. So to me, it's like, you got to give yourself the chance to figure it out, period. And use the resources you have around you, which is sometimes putting yourself out there. And I'm speaking for myself, is like putting myself out there and asking for help more to help me get to where I want to be. So I don't know. There's no real answer to that because everybody's going through that. Whether you're 30 or 40, if you're 30, you feel like you should be somewhere else where the other 30-year-olds are. If you're 20, if you're 50, like everybody feels like that.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away. So it's like you might get to a certain place you want to get to when you 21 and then you be like, dang, now I want to get there. Yeah. It's just like, it's a race you'll never win. You just have to enjoy the process, which is so cliche to say, but you have to enjoy the process because you'll look back and be like, dang, this led me to this, and then this led me to that, and then this led me to that. And I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. Yeah. But you don't know that until you look back at your journey, and you can't look back at your journey if you're not continue to go forward. So,
Talk. That question was basic for you.
Yeah.
I can't really answer that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, because it's something I still deal with.
Yeah, it's something that you already went through.
Yeah, went through exactly, and it's like I went through all of that and still found new things to be saying. Oh, dang, I'm not. So it's like it keeps
never ending.
Yeah, it's never ending. But instead of looking at it as a bad thing, you look at it more as like I'm not by myself, like or back then I felt the same way, and look what I was able to accomplish for myself, so I could do it again.
True.
Yeah, so
that's
what it is,
that's facts, that's facts.
Yeah, like I can do it again.
Yeah, that's facts.
So, but anyway, I think these are great questions, like. And I hope we could, we're going to do a part 2 with the rest of the questions, I feel like, and then we can get more questions from people.
Yeah.
But I enjoed the Dear CC.
Stuff people want to know, for me. Like,
and it's stuff that I needed to like think about too.
That's true. It's just so many things that I wish that it was someone that, same thing for us, that was like 30, 40 or something that could talked about stuff like
maybe
that.
we should have somebody as a guest like that. Like we can ask
these type of questions, like transitional or just like ways that the things that they learn working or whatever.
Yeah, like what worked for them or what they can like share. Maybe we can think about people.
Like you said, I think people feel like when you're 20, like looking at 28-year-olds or 25-year-olds, or people that are just 22 and they got all this big dog luxurious or just money or the wealth that you want. Yeah. Talking to somebody that's even older than that may have already accomplished stuff like that. Like, how do they feel?
How do they feel, right?
Because like, even though you may think that their life is sad, could be things that they still go through.
Right. So I think it'll be helpful to hear for sure. But yeah, man, if you haven't checked out the interview we did last week, make sure you check that out on our Instagram platforms. If you have other questions you want to send us, DM us on my page or DeAndre's page or the podcast page. Because we're going to try to do another one of these soon. Because we got questions we didn't get to. Thank you for everybody who was vulnerable enough to submit a question. That's not
really
easy.
Important. Yeah, it's really important.
But yeah, maybe we can go live on the Cultivate page one day.
True.
Before you leave. But anyway.
That'll switch it up a little bit.
You have any plugs before we?
No plugs. Just get a shirt.
Shout out to everybody who's been buying a shirt lately.
Shout out to everybody's buying a shirt, man. I appreciate y'all for real.
Yeah. But no, I think that's it. Yeah. We'll see y'all next week. Tap, tap, tap in.
Yeah, you do the top one this time.
Oh my goodness. But we love y'all. Peace.
Yeah. We'll see y'all
Tuesday.